Country experts are responsible for managing content for one of the languages in the system. Current expertise for Estonia, so it manages all the content for Estonian. Let us start with the questions table. As you can see, the question has ID column, question, English translation, category, answer, date of creation, languages, and status. The status is a system-wide status for the question, and it doesn't reflect that current question has been translated to Estonian. As you can see, the question itself has only English text and has not been translated to Estonian yet. This is why there is an A translation link that hints at question not having a translation. The number of languages also shows how many languages has the question being translated to. If it's red, then it means that translation for current language is still missing. Let us start by adding a translation to the question. As you can see, question has text for the current language, the text for English, category, an answer that is connected to it as an answer to this question. And if the question is still not set as translated, there is an element that allows current expert to change the status of the question. Let us just write some kind of translation text. And save the results. As you can see, there is now a translation for the question. Languages are shown as English and Estonian. And there is also an answer for the question that has been connected to it, which has only been translated to English. But let us translate the answer from the same UI without going to the answers tab. We can edit the answer here and write a translation for Estonian. Let's say the results. The logic for the status is the same for both questions and answers. As you can see, answer has now been translated to Estonian, which is shown. It has both languages, and there is again a possibility to make changes without leaving the question management part of the UI. Let us also create a new question just to see how it works. Language experts are able to create new questions for their languages, plus an English text is also required. We can create a category that reflects what this question is for. Let's choose something. And there is a possibility to select one of the existing answers or to search from the text of the answer to find the suitable one. Let us leave it be for the time being and save the question that we have newly created. When the question is saved, it has a status as in translation. in translation means that the expert, at least one of the experts, is still dealing with the question, and it has not been made available for master expert or the chatbot. Our question is still missing an answer, so we'll just try to make something. So let us use the question dialog to create a new answer. We can do it without leaving the dialog itself. So we can create an answer, and this answer will have its status set as translated, because we will enter both the text for the current language and an English one. And let's hit create. So the answer is created. It has been set as selected for the current question. We can also click the info button to see the full text of the answer. The full text is not showing the list because answers could be pretty long. We could also press the checkbox to select one of the other answers. But let's check this one, and let's also set the status for the question as being translated, so that it has the question in English, a question in Estonian, plus it has a language, an answer that has both answer in Estonian and answer in English, and the status set as translated. We will also change the status of the question itself to translated. This way, master expert would have it shown in their list. So the status has become translated. Status of translated means that this question or answer has at least one translation for some kind of language, and it should be for both question and answer. This would make it available for the chatbot. So let's go to the answers section and see that there is the answer that we have created. It also uses the same UI logic. So this add translation shown in red means that current answer has not yet been translated to Estonian. Same goes for the languages. We can see which languages it has been translated to. Status column is pretty much the same, and they generally share the status logic between questions and answers. There is also an additional capability of seeing all the questions that the answer has been marked as an answer for. So we can press this button and see that there is one question selected for this answer, or the answer is selected as an answer for a question. We can also edit the question without leaving current page. If there are more than one questions, then they will be shown in the list and it will become scrollable. There is also a button that would allow us to add new answer, which would have the translation to the language for the expert, currently Estonian, the answer in English, and there would later on also be a possibility to edit the language and mark it as translated, change the status to translated, as was shown previously in the video. The third tab is for pending questions. Pending questions have a bit of a different logic for status, and they also behave in a different way. Pending questions are questions that have been suggested by the end users of the chatbot's interface. So we can see that there has been a suggestion made and the status is set to pending. Pending means that no experts have dealt with it yet. So let us just click and add translation to English. We've added the translation. We can also set the status to propagated, which will make it available to the selfie master, and selfie master would be able to set the status to one of the following ones, which are either canceled if this question is not needed, or completed, which means that there would be a question created based on the current pending question for certain language. There is also a group number to allow grouping those suggestions in some way. Let's change the status to propagated so that it would later on be seen by the master expert. And hit save. So we see that there is a question for local language, Estonian. There is an English translation, and the status has been changed to propagated so that it would be available to the master expert. There is also a possibility for deleting questions, answers, and pending questions. It's always shown in the edit dialog and has the same icon. There is also a possibility to search all the pending questions and answers, and the search is using the English text and the text for the local language when the search is being commented. Let us give it a try. So it shows all the questions that have this phrase in them. And it could also be reset. This is all for the country expert.